Looking at UVTV, motherfucker. I'm at a Kids Spiritual Ass and do this for my people. On God. Neon nigga feather me in. Today I'm gonna be talking about the elements of the heavens, atmosphere, and the abode of God, aka all possibilities and things of that nature. So all the way down to the elements. Look at like the elements like fire, water, air, earth. So this is something that's preeminent or pre-existing, right? Because earth is just the condensing, the condensing or the grounding or the materialization of what fire, water, air, earth is doing. Now, for astrology motherfuckers and stuff like that, fire will be like the passion, the vision, seeing and feeling, taking things from the internal realm and try to externalize it or expand it or, you know what I'm saying, add some type of foresight, add some type of motivation or fire in their eyes, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Making it blaze, making it burn through reality in some way, shape, and form. So it's taking things that are of the shape and form and we're trying to burn through it. We're trying to see through it like something that's transparent and stuff like that, but not like water. We're gonna burn it. You know what I'm saying? The same way how the minute fire gets around anything in the flesh, in the physical and stuff like that, it will burn through the ground. It will burn through the house. It will burn through whatever it's trying to go through in general and stuff like that. So it's burning through the physical reality of how we see things, and it is destroying it, deteriorating it. So it can turn into something like something that's watery and stuff like that, right? So from it being, you know what I'm saying, like the way fire looks in the physical world is not even like what I'm really trying to describe, but it's just the energy signature of what I'm talking about just in general. So it's like playing out a vision of how you see and feel, and then if you try to soak into how you feel about something, that's when it turns into water. So the water is transparent and it's something that's internal, but it's something that's fluid, so it's connective. So from it being fluid and connective, and it's something that you're soaking into, you're taking your visions and your passions and your motivations and stuff like that, right? And it's gonna create that fire and water conflict, so that steam, but you can see through the steam. You can see the fluidity, you can see the connection. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be something that can be a part of the water. Oh, something that all of us can be a part of. But the minute the wave end up being too big and stuff like that, like a cardinal sign or like a Cancer for the most part, cardinal water sign and stuff like that. When the wave and the water get too big and fluid and too succumbing, then that's when you start to drown inside the water and all that type shit. You know what I'm saying? If I want to make that allegory to make that super simple. And then air, the same way how we experience air in the atmosphere and we need oxygen to breathe and stuff like that, it's all about thinking, communicating. And then earth is just thinking and practicalizing, so putting it into practice, it actually being materialized. And then the air concept would be like taking things from the external world and externalizing it. And then the earth concept would be like taking things from the external world so we can receive something out of it. So it's going to be something grounded in reality, so we can actually play it out into the physical, play it out into the external world, play it out into the flesh. You get what I'm saying? Us actually making it practical. We're being the practitioners of that practice, just in general, right? So when we take that and then add that to the heavens would be like the sky or the atmosphere. The atmosphere is just the sphere at most, the word at most. So the same way how we look at the atmosphere, how we look at, you know what I'm saying, like the atmosphere and the physical reality that we in and stuff like that, right? Like the thing that I'm talking about is like an internal nature or something that's part of the spiritual realm of the overall space. But the way how we look at it in the physical of how we actually look at the atmosphere, the thing that's going above the earth and stuff like that, the lightest shape and form, we could just utilize that as something that we actually can see in nature based upon the seasonal transitions and the celestial bodies like the sun and the moon and things of that nature, right? And the overall world, and we can make it a part of, you know what I'm saying? Like that worldview is basically a part of the physical world, but it's something that's based upon the internal nature and stuff like that. So it's like a mechanism. It's like an animism and stuff like that. It's something that's of natural natures, and it was pre-existing before our human brain started to make up its own mind of how they look at it based upon its own awareness. But that's something that we see in reality that we can't change, that we can't move. In the main thing about life, just in general, is life is always forever changing and everlasting. On a broader scale, when it comes to the atmosphere and the seasonal transitions, all that type of shit, right? Sun and the moon and the sky and all that type stuff, we can see that's the lighter shape or form of something that's sentient, that's existing, that's always changing and moving, and always, you know what I'm saying? Always going through a transition, a birth, life, death concept and stuff like that. All the way down to dawn till dusk. Oh, daytime would be like the dawn and the birth and the creation and the life, and then the till dusk would be like the death and the expiration point and all that type stuff, the conclusion, all that, until it becomes a new day again and stuff like that. And then based upon those different transitions, people will be trying to make up different civilizations and knowledge and wisdom to try to understand the world, and they'll look at the sun as a director, but it's like an animism type of thing, to where you have to look at everything in existence is also a part of how we exist into existence. We're just lesser shape and form, aka us being a human or us being an animal and things of that nature, are what it is based upon our awareness and comprehension. But because we have awareness and comprehension and stuff like that, we're trying to heighten our awarenesses. We're trying to heighten our knowledge. We're trying to heighten our wisdom and our experiences and what we can observe, so we can keep on creating more and try to become more intelligent, so to speak. So this in general, especially when it comes to these different religions, when they're talking about being in a heavenly or divine, a heavenly, celestial, divinely type of space or a state of being and stuff like that, right? It's just the state of being of, it's just being, it's just you being it's like you being a divine being for the most part. So from you being a divine being is you being part of the heavens. The heavens is the sky. It's the atmosphere. It's just the world at most. So you creating your own world and you putting yourself in that state of being in that position so you can keep on creating more. So it's just you being a part of the abode of God. God will be the all possibilities, the all of the overall magnitude of something. You know what I'm saying? All of creation, the universe in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Not the universe as a noun, like a thing that's happening on its own and is coming out its own actions. No, we make the world. We make the universe. We are creating it itself. We're making it possible. We're taking things that are impossible and we're making it possible. And we're trying to everlast that. So that's what your spirit is doing, aka the space that you in, and that's just the overall space just in general. So when you start to cater to your overall space of what you're trying to create and what you're trying to observe and what you're trying to experience and stuff like that, it gets condensed into the mind and then condensed into the flesh, and then it basically gets condensed into the external world and the tools and technology and the scientific methods that get created out of that. So when y'all get lost into a verse, oh, we're gonna try to take things from the external world to please the to please the body, and then take things that please the body to please the mind, and then the mind trying to please the spirit, you end up working all backwards, when it's just the spirit, the space that you in, the state of being, the state of awareness that you in is creating the mind, the thought, idea, feeling, or emotion, your light body, your first shape and form, and then it's going to create the physical, your organs and stuff like that, and then it's going to, you know what I'm saying, it's going to create the physical, the flesh, and then it's going to create what we make into the external world. Then it turns into us making things like technology or a scientific method or some new way of how to go about something, or a civilization, a nation, a society, and all that type of shit. So just in general, the sky is just the overall expanded space, field, atmosphere, area, parameter that's over the earth. So based upon you being in that heavenly space, it's before it gets condensed into the physical shape and form of where you can actually see it and stuff like that, right? So that's just describing the heavens. And that's something that's preeminent and pre-existent before we even got here, to where we could make up our own knowledge and understand of how to look at it and stuff like that. It's just we begin lost into the humanistic mind state of how to look at it. And the reason how I know that, just in general, because we can see a human play out those different characteristics and try to make their own meanings out of life and stuff like that, but we ain't seeing an animal trying to think like a human and try to do it in the same way. Now, they may not be as intelligent or as aware as a human and stuff like that, but we ain't seeing a thing that's relatable to like a monkey or a gorilla or like a shark or some shit like that, and them trying to and them trying to basically make sense out of it in a humanistic state of being, mind state and stuff like that. So motherfuckers just be flunked out and be trying to make other humans flunked out for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if it's not applying overall to where even a monkey or a bug could even go through that same type of process and stuff like that, then yeah, it's something you trying to cloud other people's mind and judgments, and you probably lost, and you trying to make up some type of theology and stuff like that to get other motherfuckers indoctrinated and all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to understand the overall mechanism. Okay, you're not the only person that's in existence. You're not the only person that's sentient. You're not the only motherfucker with a brain. Even if a motherfucker got a monkey brain or a donkey brain, all that type shit, they still sentient. They still get their own state of being, just like a bee, trying to be a bee, to where during springtime it's gonna pollinate the flowers and all that type shit and come out the beehive to make honey, and the queen bee and all that type stuff. You know what I'm saying? They're doing what naturally comes to them the same way how humans are naturally going to come to that. It's just we're more intelligent and we're more expanded to where we can take it further than that. It's just y'all get lost into the flesh, into the external world, and the different scientific methods and technology based upon that, and make y'all lack that creativity or lack the spirit. And just in general, that's how y'all end up. What the fuck? That's how y'all end up. That's how y'all end up coming up with a concept like the spirit is the mind or some shit like that. When it's not that, it's the spirit is a thing on its own and it just creates the mind. Not the spirit is the mind. No, it's not the spirit being the mind itself. It's just the spirit create the mind, and then the mind create the flesh. The mind create the flesh, and then the flesh is gonna create things of the external world, not the flesh being the external world itself. You know what I'm saying? Not the mind being the body and all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something that's corporeal. You know what I'm saying? Like, the mind is something corporeal, and then the spirit is something, or the space that you in, the state of being that you in, of you observing and trying to create it in itself, is something that's incorporeal. It's more free flowing, free spirited, independent, self reliant, and all that type stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's unconscious. So if it's something that's subconscious or is conscious, okay, it got some type of conscious. If it's unconscious, that means it's not even conscious yet. It's just, it is what it is for the most part, and that's what the spirit is doing. That's the space that you in. That's just what you observing. It's just, it is what it is, and you ain't coming up with a bias. You ain't coming up with a certain concept of what that is yet. It's just you observing what it is, and then that's it for the most part. But in general, right, the abode of God, the heavens is just the abode of God. So where the blessed or the good or favorable spirits go after death. So look at death like mortality, the flesh, the temporal world, the physical and stuff like that. And from life being ever changing and stuff like that, right? That means we're always going to be going through these different transitions and stuff like that. Birth, like death, resolution, all that type stuff. So from it being the abode of God, God just means all possibilities, not God like a deity. God being looked at like some idol worship or a deity is just them trying to put you in the perspective of turning your spaceship into a warship and going to war for something that probably got nothing to do with your individual space and probably got no type of credence to your own culture and your own family and stuff like that. And you're trying to give your power away to a deity. You're trying to give a power away to someone trying to control that part of reality, and that's it, instead of you making up your own concept of reality. And then, you know what I'm saying, just make motherfuckers flunked out. But just in general, the heavens is just the abode of God, aka all possibilities, the overall potential of something, and where the blessed or the good or favorable spirits go after death. So look at the afterlife, or things that happen after death, is just what happens after this life. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? What's going to happen after you die in this shape and form, aka like you being in the flesh right now and all that type of shit. And then blessed means being less. And we're just in general, we're really trying to expand. We're really trying to be more. Now, there is a concept of being less, or making something condense or contract. So expansion, contraction, externalizing, internalizing. There is a concept when it comes to that. But just look at blessed as in, oh, the good and favorable. They was able to do something in God's favor. They was able to make themselves a part of existence. They was able to make they was able to make themselves a part of the universe. They was able to, just in general, create a pocket or a lane for themselves to where they was able to work in God's favor. So all possibilities. They was able to make it possible for themselves to be in that lane, to be in that pocket. And God like that. God like when you like to create something for yourself. God like it when you try to put yourself in your own pocket and produce something yourself. You know what I'm saying? Something that's more self-reliant. Something that requires your free will. You get it? So from us liking to birth things and create things and produce things and emanate, just in general, we like to germinate seeds to make it so they can grow over time to where they can become like an esoteric Garden of Eden and things of that nature. So God like it when you help yourself. God like it when you do something of your own favor and stuff like that, doing something out of your own volition. It's just when you start making it too self-serving, that's when God gonna reject that shit, because it's not about the universe working for you or against you. Is just working through you. So you're just able to go through the different ups and downs when it comes to life, just in general. So when it comes to making your own eternal heaven and stuff like that and being part of the abode of God, that's all that really means. You being good and favorable of trying to make yourself happy, of you trying to create something for yourself even after you dead. That's the only thing that's going to be everlasting and eternal. What you created for yourself and what it did, the after effects of what it did after the fact. You get what I'm saying? So even after you dead, people can be like, oh, this person did this. He made himself a part of existence. Oh, he created this. He produced this. He helped this person. He was able to be good natured or good nurtured, or you know what I'm saying? Uh like all those type of adjectives to basically describe something that's positive. But when in reality, it's just them expanding even further. They was trying to put themselves in a position to create more. So it's the state of everlasting communion with God. All possibilities. You trying to be everlasting. You trying to be immortalized. You trying to be eternal. You trying to go through the different boundary, restriction, and limits to structure your life and endure it to where you able to bear something. You was able to create something for yourselves. You were able to create a family. You was able to create a land. You was able to create a pocket. You was able to create that idea and bring it to reality. You was able to create a promised land, so to speak. So making a heaven is just you being a creator of reality. The same way how y'all look at the different gods, like when it comes to the different pantheons, like Greek or Norse or some shit like that, like the god of thunder or the god of fire, or you know what I'm saying? Like the god of agriculture, the god of swiftness or some shit like that. Okay, from them being a god is them controlling that realm of reality and stuff like that, right? So God like it when you like to create a reality. So that's all that heaven is, just in general, right? When you be in your more heavenly divine state of being and stuff like that, you're creating a divination, not you getting lost into divination, just in general. You being celestial, you being divine, you being like a celestial body, you being like the sun and moon, you going through the different transitions, you making your own world, you making your own pocket, your own fantasy, you making your own atmosphere. And then the atmosphere is just the word at most. So like I was saying before, you creating your own world and then other people can be a part of your world view, your outlook. You know what I'm saying? We can see it from afar. That's just your subjective point of view of what feels pleasurable to you, and then that's it. And then the more you're able to do that on a lighter scale, right, the better. So not just you getting lost into the external world or something of the flesh or something of the mind. You know what I'm saying? So you don't end up getting lost and stuff like that. You're just getting more lost into your creative abilities, your talents, your gifts of what you can, you know what I'm saying? Like you gaining more knowledge and wisdom of your own abilities, of what you're capable of. And then that's really it for the most part. So heaven is just you being a creative reality, you creating a position of power, gaining wisdom or learning from your experiences based upon what you know, and creating goodness. Look at that, like happiness, expansion, you making a lane, a pocket, a direction, because we like to be fulfilled as spirits and stuff like that. And you ain't gonna be fulfilled unless you actually try to fulfill something spiritually. You have to fulfill that pocket, that space that you in, not try to fulfill it with something of the external world. We're doing things from the inside out, not from the outside in. Once you rely on the external world or doing something to try to please the flesh, or doing something just to convince yourself in your mind it's like a good thing to do and all that type shit, acting like you can't change your mind on something like the next day and all that type shit, you know what I'm saying? Like that's when you end up getting lost. It's just you trying to observe and create more, and you taking something based upon what you're paying attention to, and you attracting things based upon what you're paying attention to. So based upon the masculine and feminine. So it's like you being able to take things of the imagination based upon what you're paying attention to, based upon that first intent, and whatever your first intent was, you was able to actually actualize it in reality and attract people to what you're paying attention to based upon how much it means to you. So you took something that was basically like a manifestation and you was able to materialize it. Manifesting men and women, festering men and women, masculine and feminine, expansion, contraction, externalizing, internalizing, attention, attraction, frequency, vibration, turn it into an energy, and it being grounded in reality. But yeah, like I was saying before, creating goodness. So happiness, expansion, a direction, pleasure, or what you enjoy, a state of bliss, and you being a part of existence, aka the universe, and doing things in God's favor. So you being of service to help others who probably don't know how to do it as well as you do, but because you have a know-how that they don't have, you can help them not be as crippled and not struggle as much because you made a pocket for yourself. So you like, okay, I can help you have your own pocket. And that's actually doing things for God, just in general. You being of service and not being too self-serving. So from you thinking more in that perspective and stuff like that, it's going to make it so things can go in your favor. Things could things could go in a perspective of you can have power control over something, because regardless if it comes or goes, right, you're gonna do what you want to do anyway. You're gonna be on that high ass frequency. You're gonna keep on frequently doing it, even if it's going in your favor or not. So you're constantly being of service when it comes to God, all possibilities. So right? So you're gonna know based upon intuition and insight, oh, okay, life isn't gonna work for me or against me. It's gonna go through me. But for me to always be in God's favor, right? And I'm always gonna be in a position to where I can keep on creating and produce it, and be more free spirited, putting myself in a whole bunch of different spaces, which is really just spirituality, the actuality of believing in something beyond just yourself, and able to put yourself in a multitude of different spaces, but also having your own soul, your own spirit, your own individual space of how you look at it, but making it a part of how other people look at it, and each one teach different type of energies, and you going through those different observations and experiences based upon you putting yourself in different spaces, but you are still able to show your capabilities and be yourself, even if you was around a whole bunch of different people for the most part. So you ain't gonna go through no type of spiritual pressure, like this an episode of Bleach or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But just in general, right? It's gonna make it so when you be more in that divine, heavenly type of space, right? You're gonna be divine. You're gonna be heavenly. You're gonna be celestial. You're gonna create a divination, not you getting lost into someone else's divination. So you getting lost into a divine nature instead of trying to understand your pure state of being, your natural natures, what you're celestial about, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel happy, what makes you feel expanded and stuff like that, what brings you bliss, what makes you what brings you peace, and you trying to create it for yourself, all the way down to bringing heaven on earth. But I'm gonna get there though. But just in general, right, when you more in the heavens and stuff like that, sin is absent. And so y'all don't get spooked out based upon me using the word sin and stuff like that, right? Sin is just desires or expectations you are lost into that you can't let go of. So it's desires you're lost in. That's why sin has that inward. You're in it. So you're in a shaping form, just like a thought form or a feeling or an emotion. You know what I'm saying? You're in something specifically, and it's going to get produced into the flesh, into the external world. And then you could describe that as being lost into sin and stuff like that. Or you being lost into the mind, you being lost into the flesh, or you being lost into the external world. And you not learning how to be incorporeal, and to learn how to let those things go, and based upon it going through a transition and stuff like that. So it's going to become incorporeal, and it's going to become corporeal just for you to let it go and become incorporeal again. You get what I'm saying? It's going to take a shape and form just for you to let go of that shape and form, so you can make more shape and forms, because you're trying to make more room for the state of being in the space that you're in, and your experiences, and what you're trying to create for yourself, and what you're trying to observe, and what you're trying to produce, and you can do it at a larger scale and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? You having your own territory and all that type of shit, but like internally speaking, esoterically speaking. But sin is just desires or expectations you are lost into that you can't let go of, because when you get lost into that expectation, anticipation energy all the time and stuff like that, right? Life is going to show you that you need to learn how to let go of those expectations, because it's basically going to lead it's going to basically lead into a validation issue type shit. You know what I'm saying? Based upon how many likes you get, or how many views you get, or trying to live up to the expectations of what your parents want, what people, places, and things that you want, what you feel like you have to do to try to you know what I'm saying, be relative or be relatable to people, and things of that nature, right? When at the end of the day, you still gonna move in your own way of how to look, I ain't trying to make it seem like, oh yeah, you need to just not give a fuck about anybody and things of that nature, and you need to just not need nobody, because you're gonna need people. You're always gonna need someone to help you out when it comes to the different strikes, when it comes to life and all that type of shit. But just in general, right, I'm basically trying to say you can't get too lost into that desire, into that expectation, in anticipating how you think it's going to go in your mind. It's not always going to go the way you're going to think in your mind. It's like how I was saying before, upside down when it comes to life, and life in the universe is not working it's not working for you or against you. It's going through you. Sometimes it's going to go in your favor. Sometimes it ain't. When you try to be in that self-serving type of energy too much and stuff like that, and you think you God on earth, and you basically trying to be God, you trying to be all possibilities, when it's not no thing like that. We all don't have the same mind. We all don't have the same worldview. We all don't have the same world that we living in and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be able to read your mind, and I'm not a part of your mind, but we can share a mind. We can share perspectives. We can share a world. We can share outlook and all that type of shit. But it don't mean we got that same exact outlook. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't gonna have the same exact mind, because you exist and you your own person and individual. I got my own sun, you got your own sun. You got your own star quality, I got my own star quality. You got your own individuality, I got my own individuality. And we two different individuals. Once you try to conflate it too much, it's just you trying to be a virtue signaler. You trying to be like something, but you can't just be yourself. You can't just be it. You know what I'm saying? So the only thing it's gonna lead to is you being lost into a desire. You getting lost into an expectation. You getting lost into the anticipation of what you think something was gonna go as. But the minute you start to go through the experience, right, in reality, you start to see like, oh, it didn't even go how I expected. Exactly. It's not always gonna go how you probably think is gonna go in your mind or how you expect it. God be working in mysterious ways and stuff like that. It's gonna come in a way that you probably never even expected or even seen before, or how you thought it was gonna go in your mind. You end up, regardless if it's positive or it's negative, in things of that nature, right? Based upon like that, that's like you trying to get a record deal and stuff like that, and you all like, oh, okay, if this was like back in the day and stuff like that, oh yeah, I'm gonna rap in front of Jay-Z and stuff like that, and then I'm gonna get a crowd of people and stuff like that, and people gonna be showing the video online of me rapping in front of Jay-Z, and then he gonna sign me right then and there, and then your expectations end up getting cut short because the nigga heard your rap, and in his mind, he probably think that shit trash, but he's sitting there nodding his head because he ain't trying to be an asshole. And he all like, oh, yeah, I'll keep in touch. He'll take your CD, but probably gonna throw that CD in the trash. The minute he go around the corner and stuff like that, the minute he go inside that building and for the Rock Nation and all that type shit. If this was back in the day in the 2000s and all that type shit. But it's like, yeah, bro, like, it's not gonna go in the expectation of how you think it's gonna go in your mind. But if you're gonna keep on trying to frequently create a situation to where you can make it happen, either way, you know what I'm saying? Regardless if it's coming or going, just in general, right? That's the part that's actually good. That's the part that actually you should be taking gain from and stuff like that. It's about the journey, not about the destination. Because the minute you get to that destination, you probably not even gonna know what to do with it, or you're probably gonna be like, it's not as fulfilling as I thought it was gonna be. The expectation, the anticipation type of energy is not what you. It's not chalked up as you actually thought it was going to be in your mind, because you got lost into the sin. You got lost into that desire. You got lost into the expectation. And you all like, oh, okay, it's going to fulfill this pocket. But you getting lost into the, you know what I'm saying? You getting lost in your mind again. You getting lost into the mind. You getting lost into the flesh. And you probably getting lost into the external world too. But just in general, that's how you actually gain salvation. Being a source for saving or protecting yourself and others, protecting yourself or others from harm or risk. And stuff like that. So from you being like a sorcerer and stuff like that, it's just you being a source. From you being able to redeem others or save or protect others from hurting themselves, because you have more knowledge or wisdom or experiences and know how to go about something. And then other people can help you in avoid harm or risk. That's like a parent and stuff like that trying to show or guide you how to run, how to basically how to move in society, because not everyone gonna give a fuck about you and all that type of shit. So how you can still be independent, stand on your own 2 feet and stuff like that. So even after they're dead, you're still gonna be able to sustain yourself. You still gonna be able to be okay and avoid certain harm and risk or certain experiences that they probably went through when they was growing up and all that type of stuff. And they made it easier for you, so you could avoid that and you could take a better route, a better direction, a better comfort zone and all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? You basically gonna have a better opportunity or be on a better playing field compared to other motherfuckers, because it was able to guide you in the right way. So it's like salvation. So you protecting or saving yourself or redeeming yourself from yourself or others from harm and risk. And that's basically how you reach true peace. Getting your piece of the cake. Getting your own pocket without no type of disturbance and stuff like that. Because I know motherfuckers be getting lots of love and light and all that type shit, and they be thinking like, oh, they living so peaceful, being what they call that shit, like what the monks be doing, like monoastic and all that type shit, just meditating and all that type shit, man. No, you really just meditating. You ain't doing shit. You ain't trying to create more for yourself and stuff like that. You just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't trying to say there's nothing wrong with meditating, just in general and stuff like that, but that's not what life is about and stuff like that. It's really you just trying to stay stuck into one mode of life and you not doing anything. when you be into that monk type of mindset and thinking all that type shit. Is really like a different form of idol worship. Y'all just don't look at it like that. But for the most part, right? Yeah, it's just you actually gaining some internal peace or bliss once you get your own peace. You know what I'm saying? You get in your own pocket without no disturbance, and you're able to go there again, even if you're going through a lot of strife in the external world and stuff like that. Basically, like you having a whole bunch of haters, you having like a lot of opposers, you have a lot of negativity around you. And the reason that is because internally you feel at peace. So regardless of what a motherfucker gotta say, right? Of it being something, man, even if you're a degenerate motherfucker, even they understand this to a certain extent and stuff like that. Yeah, they still gonna be degenerate. Yeah, they still gonna be lost into the flesh and all that type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they still gonna be worrying about like some temporal fleshly type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Some attention, some edgy attention seeking type of shit. In their mind, they still getting some type of inner peace because they probably laughing about it, or they probably look at this shit as enjoyable. They probably look at that shit as fun. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like teenagers doing kid shit and stuff like that. They like a lot of kids be doing a lot of kid shit that's like super wild or degenerate or super like, you know what I'm saying? Like you probably could have lost your life doing all that bullshit when you was a kid and all that type stuff, right? But at the time, it was just fun. Like it was chaotic. It was fun though. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like when you look at it when you older, you was all like, oh yeah, I was doing a lot of bullshit. I was smoking weed. I was doing a lot of hard drugs. Like this is like this is euphoria and all that type shit. But it was fun though. I ain't doing that shit no more though. You know what I'm saying? I ain't getting no OD type of addiction. Addiction. I ain't getting no crazy addiction or anything like that. But for the most part, it's like a thing to where you gain that type of internal peace. Like you made peace with it. You know what I'm saying? You able to accept that's just what it was, just in general. Like, yeah, at one point I did do that, but I ain't on that now, and I'm enjoying some new things that aren't that no more. But at the time, I find that enjoyable, and I accept, yeah, I do that shit sometimes, and all that type shit. So you take the good with the bad, just in general, because the whole thing itself is like a mechanism. You know what I'm saying? Something that's true to you could be bad for someone else to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, to you, that's something that's naturally coming to you and you living in your truth. But as someone else, they probably look at that shit like it's negative. That's like you being from the hood and stuff like that, and you a gang member and all that type of stuff. But based upon your surrounding and environment, you just grew up a certain way. So from you growing up a certain way to you, it's just normal. You just living your true state of being. But if you was around a motherfucker who's like a aristocrat or who got $1 billion, they're gonna look at you like a hoodlum. They're gonna look at you like a thug or some shit, or look at you like some criminal or like some evil motherfucker who just killing just because and stuff like that. And where to you just like, man, I just got jumped in and stuff like that. And I got brothers who also got jumped in. I got friends and family who part of this shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm making my own living, all that type shit. It's just the way I grew up in my surrounding environment, and to me, it's just normal. It was just that was life type shit. So what the fuck you talking about? I ain't just gonna be willy nilly just killing motherfuckers just cause and stuff like that. It's just it was just my the way the cards was dealt when it came to this lifetime and all that type shit. So what the fuck is you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like it's really that simple though. So that's when it started to lead to making heaven on earth, making something light and making it heavy. So playing out things that are unseen, that are imaginative, something that comes from your imagination, you being an actual magician, right? You being a source, and you being able to do something in a mythical, mysterious type of way, or something that's fictitious, something that's make-believe, but you make people believe in it. You make it be seen or a part of reality, or you living out your dreams, you living out that fantasy. That's how we bring heaven on earth, just in general. We're going to bring heaven on earth from us understanding our own internal heaven, right? And us being with all possibilities, and we making it possible. And teamwork make the dream work type of concept, and then we bring heaven on earth, and then that's it. We're going to make a pocket for that to be a thing, a part of existence, and then it can be a part of reality, and then we can see, oh, that's a thing we could actually do. It may look make believe, it may look like something, oh, only you see the vision. It's only something that I see in my imagination of where I see myself in the future and all that type shit. But I was able to create a lane for myself. I was able to create a pocket. I was able to make it a part of existence in showmanship and form to basically make more and all that type shit. So that's really like the true perfection state of being perfectly imperfect. You know what I'm saying? Perfection is imperfection. You know what I'm saying? You was able to perfectly make it go in your own imperfect type of way. So from you having your own subjective point of view, to you it was perfect, but to somebody else, they're gonna be all like, I mean, that ain't perfect because what about this though? What about that? But it's like to you, nah, because it went in my favor the way I would like to go about it. If you was in my position, you probably want to go and your specific way, but that's what's perfect to you. So I'm being my natural self. I'm being in my perfect state of being and stuff like that. I was able to perfectly make it imperfect and stuff like that. You have to go through the imperfections, or you have to go through the weaknesses to make it a strength. You to make it something perfect, to make it something that actually look like other people can be inspired and they can be a part of and stuff like that. So the only way you could go against the heavens and stuff like that, being a part of the abode of God, all possibilities, is you going against it. That's just creating hell. But that's really some shit some humans made up and all that type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really like the heavens is just the heavens, and it was just that. Just in general. It's not like God made the heavens and the hell and all that type shit. No, it's y'all trying to go against it. When y'all basically oppose and y'all go against it, y'all end up making hell for yourselves. Hell is just punishment or misery. It's hell is just eternal or everlasting punishment, misery, depression, or you burning yourself out, or spiritually evaporating, or going against being immortalized. You're losing the ability to create and produce more. So that's like you getting caught up in misery. You getting caught up in a depression. You basically burning yourself out. You was flying too close to the sun and stuff like that. So from you getting lost into the love and light concept, you getting lost into the Lucifer, the love, the light, the validation, all that type shit, right? You trying to make it go in a particular thought form or a specific emotion or a feeling, instead of you understanding you create thoughts and feelings, and it's based upon what you're paying attention to. But you also have to, you know what I'm saying? It's like what I was saying before. It leads to you making a direction, you containing it, and then you letting it go, and then you making a bigger container for it. You know what I'm saying? So it's always a mechanism of you trying to gain something, to hold on to it, just to let certain things go, so you can have that clarity or that clairvoyance, so you can expand it and have more room. You get it? So it's you basically making the room, you putting things inside of the room. Now you got to let certain things go within the room so you can have a bigger room, a bigger space. You get it? You know what I'm saying? A bigger state of being, a bigger awareness, more knowledge, more observations, more wisdom, more things you can learn from. You get it? So when it comes to hell, that's just you going to hell when it comes to creating internal and everlasting punishment and misery and depression. You staying into deep rest. You basically going through soul sleep. You basically putting your soul to sleep. You being soulless. You're lacking your own individuality. You're lacking your own world. You're lacking your own space. You always trying to be a part of other people's worlds instead of you having your own world, your own individuality, your own outlook, your own worldview. You going through your own experiences, your own observations. You getting lost into other people's observations. So just from you doing that, you end up lacking that for yourself. You end up lacking that spark. You end up lacking that productivity. You end up lacking that creativity. And then it leads to you being super unproductible. And then you end up being frustrated because eventually you're going to get into a perspective of you trying to make things go more in your favor, or you having your own outlook and you want to show your own ability and talents and stuff like that. Otherwise, why the fuck you got your own mind? You know what I'm saying? That's the reason you're your own mind in the first place, is to do that. So once you end up burning yourself out, right, from you having the lack of the ability to even do it, or from you being in an illusion, you being lost into the external world, and not learning how to let that go. You getting lost into the flesh, not learning how to let that go. And you being lost into the mind and not learning how to let that go. That's how you go to hell. You end up being into, you know what I'm saying? That's why they'll be all like, oh, you going to the everlasting inferno and stuff like that. You really just crashing out. Basically, you just crashing out spiritually. You burning yourself out from getting lost into that one way of seeing it. You know how motherfuckers be like, oh yeah, we seeing red and all that type of shit. That's basically all you doing. You crashing out, bro. You crashing out. And you getting lost into the light. You getting lost into that enlightenment. You getting lost into that shape and form and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And then you end up making it heavy, and then it just leads to stuff like you being lost into the external world, and you being lost into the flesh and things of that nature. And then that's really it, bro. So it's really just you going against all possibilities. You're just trying to do something that's super egoed out or narky or super self-serving and stuff like that. Is it you're lacking the ability to make yourself a part of existence, or you're trying to make all of existence in your way of how to go about it? So you think you can run the world. You think, oh, I can make the Big Bang Theory and stuff like that. Oh, I'm God on earth and stuff like that. And the motherfuckers need to idol worship me. And the world got to always look at it in my outlook. When we see in actuality, not the whole world ain't gonna look at how you look at the world, and then that's it. You know what I'm saying? All the way down to the actual overall world when it comes to the atmosphere that we in right now with the sun and moon and all that type shit. It's still gonna be going through its transition. It's gonna be, man, the sun and the moon is gonna go through those different transitions and all that type shit. Clouds condensing, all that type shit, the weather, the spring, summer, fall, winter. All that is gonna happen regardless of what human think in their mind of what they trying to control the sky and the atmosphere to do, just in general. You don't give a fuck about how you think about it. It's gonna happen either way it go. But to basically sum it up, from us making our own internal heaven based upon the mechanism of how we see it in the physical world in reality and stuff like that, right? It's gonna make it so we can make this shape and form that we in right now as being a human, and we can make it a more broader shape and form based upon how much enlightenment that we're going to gain. And from us gaining that enlightenment, we're going to be able to expand past the humanistic traits and stuff like that, because humanity just in general is just based upon compassion and kindness. But y'all get lost into the kindness as being friendly and nice, when being kind just means being one of a kind. You having your one of a kind way of how to go about something, your own subjective worldview, your own point of view, your own atmosphere, your own essence. So from you understanding your own essence, you understand you're actually important in the importance of what's essential to your creativity, your productivity, based upon what you know and what you're talented at and your own capabilities and abilities and stuff like that. And you're trying to create that for yourself, and you can end up creating a culture out of that. And then you're trying to expand that bigger to where you have enough comprehension to expand out of the humanistic mind states of just being friendly and nice, and you understanding it's not all about sympathy all the time and stuff like that. You actually have to be of service. Yeah, you basically have to be of service, but not be of service of in a way of you basically like overly sympathizing with people and things of that nature. You can be of service, but you have to understand that people aren't going to be of service of what you trying to do all the time and stuff like that. So regardless if you helping out others and things of that nature, or other people helping you out, you still gonna have your own little pocket. So it don't mean necessarily, oh, just be around and be an asshole and all that type shit, right? It's just you understanding, oh, these things gonna come and go. Oh, these people aren't always gonna cater to my biases and all that type shit. You know what I'm saying? But from an overall perspective, it's gonna make it so you can learn how to get out that anticipation, expectation, validation issue, energy and stuff like that. And you can look at it at a more equilibrium space, and regardless if it's there or not, you still gonna be able to frequently create and be in that natural state of being, and you're able to let those things go and create another mind state and another organ and another creativity that could be a part of the external world, another type of technology and all that type shit, and not get too caught up into the fluff, or get caught up into the bullshit, or get caught up into the clouded natures, and you always able to be clairvoyant or have that clear space and clarity of what you're trying to do for yourself. And based upon that first intent, you was able to stay on that line of reasoning long enough to where you can be the new representation, the new walking star, the new walking emanation of what that thing would look like in general, based upon you making a new pocket and a new lane. And then that's really it. And then overall, it's going to make it easier for you to continue being of service. Sometimes you're going to be self-serving, and then sometimes you're going to be able to be of service and help others, but you're not getting too lost into either equilibrium, because it's not about things working for you or against you. It's just it working through you. So from it going through you, you going through the different ups and downs in life, and it's not about what you're doing, it's how you're doing it, how you're going to go about it. It's always going to be you being a perspective of you being the walking star or walking representation, you being the walking celestial body, heavenly body of what it looked like to play that out just in general, and you being part of the holy, holy, holy and all that type of stuff. So sometimes it's going to go in your favor, and then sometimes it isn't going to go in your favor. And then sometimes you're going to be able to help others, and then sometimes you need to have something for yourself. And then from you understanding that whole mechanism, that's where it leads to that equilibrium spot, that sweet spot, to where you're not getting caught up into that expectation or that bias, and you're always going to be able to observe and create more and be in your pure essence and state of being. And then even if someone try to put your spirit in that space, it's going to be really hard for them to do that, because you're acting way more free-spirited than all of them and stuff like that. So it don't even matter what type of narrative or agenda or side they try to throw onto you, just in general, you already in this heavenly space where that's just the atmosphere, that's just the world that you're in. And it's not like you're trying to force people to be a part of your world, like a ego maniac or a narc type of motherfucker and stuff like that. It's just, it is what it is. So it's either you could be a part of my world, but you don't got to be a part of my world if you don't want to. You know what I'm saying? And then that's it. And you end up making that bigger.